And today we're discussing a lot of different interesting topics: fitness, which I love, protein, recovery, and supplementation, and how we can better support our bodies through movement, of course, nourishment, rest, recovery, and the way God designed us to recover. So, again, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, Dr. Vaughn. Thanks for being
Thank you.
on Shaped by Faith. You're
Thanks
welcome.
for having me.
Absolutely. Well, I exercise, I teach exercise. There are people that are out there consistently exercising, like you yourself. You don't have to be in the gym lifting weights. You can do all
Right.
sorts of things to exercise, but they're still struggling with like fatigue, inflammation, soreness, or maybe even lack of results. So
Sure.
what are we missing? And I can even speak to this. I get sore and then I attribute it to, well, I did back-to-back fitness classes or I lifted heavier weights today. So it takes me longer to recover. But sometimes the bodies just stay sore, you know?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty big question. I mean, my wife has a fitness studio. It's not fitness focused, it's more Pilates, but they do bar method and they do these interval classes with these like weights and cardio. And I tell you, every time I do that, it kicks my butt. Like the leg workout when I do it. I mean, I did the leg workout with it wasn't my wife, it was another instructor, but I did the leg workout and I'm like, I couldn't walk for 3 days. And it's like, I play tennis, I play pickleball, I walk, I'm pretty active, but when you start putting weight into those muscles, like it's like next level, right? So there
Absolutely.
definitely is something to like, it just takes time to strengthen those muscles, especially when they're muscles you don't use a lot, and the
Hmm.
repetition and consistency. So that's just a sign to me that like I need to get back into doing that class regularly, because the times I have done that class regularly, it stops hurting, right? Like the pain
Hmm.
goes away. Your body gets stronger. It gets used to it. So I think there's something to that. I like to mention to people, I don't know if you've heard of this, but they had a term for it, and a lot of athletes used to do it. I don't know if anybody does it anymore, but baking soda offsets lactic acid. So when we get sore muscles and we have that, our muscles hurt so bad we can't move, we can't walk, we have acidosis build up in our muscles.
Okay.
And when we exercise, we actually release those acids from the muscles. And that's why for some people it takes a long time to recover, is because actually the body's very acidic. So
Mm.
one little tip is just, if the body overall is in a more alkaline state, it's not going to be as hard to recover post workout, because it's those acids in the tissues, it's lactic acid buildup that causes that pain and takes that long recovery. So what athletes used to do
Yeah.
is they used to load up on baking soda before an event. And what they do is, if they take baking soda and water, they
Hmm.
could run longer, they could lift more. Like basically everything they were doing could be extended, because
Wow.
they wouldn't have the acid buildup in the muscles is what causes you to like, obviously you have muscle fatigue, but
Hmm.
you also have this acid release that's limiting people's ability to perform, or the length in which they can perform. So that's a tip, is that, hey, overall your body might be acidic. Like, hey, we can eat a more alkaline diet. There's all kinds of things we can do to uh, to help with the overall recovery time. Baking soda would be like kind of the immediate, like quick fix, because it's very alkaline. So, that's just a couple of thoughts, I guess, on like muscles and recovery.
I need directions on baking soda. So when you say they put it in water, do they drink it? They soak in it? What do they do?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I mean, and you absolutely could soak in it. You could totally take a bath in it for recovery. Like people take Epsom salt
Yes.
baths.
Yes.
Totally should be adding baking soda to that bath too, if you're trying to recover from like muscle fatigue or muscle soreness or weakness. But no, I'm talking about drinking it in water. So I'm talking about taking like a cup of water
Hmm.
and putting like a half a teaspoon up to maybe a teaspoon max, drinking it before a workout. See if it improves how much you can lift, how long you can lift, and your recovery time afterwards.
That is so, and I'm going to give that a try. I haven't done that before. I've worked out before, but I'm going to do it. Okay,
You
thank
should,
you.
and I'm actually going to write it down because I'm gonna go back to that legs class that always kicks my rear end, and I'll take some baking soda before and see if it's better this time.
Okay, you said a half a teaspoon. Okay. Yeah, the classes that I teach are all we lift weights. Even in Pilates, we have weight bearing exercises on the
Yes,
mat. So
that's so
always
good.
using. Can you do that too much though? Like if you're doing it 5 to 8 times a week, incorporating those weights. And I'm not talking 50-pound weights. I'm not talking that. I'm talking eights and tens, maybe some 5 pounds. Is that okay, or is that overdoing it with the body?
I think that's great. I mean, and I'm not. I mean, you look at me. I'm not the muscle guy. I'm not the bodybuilder. I'm not the weightlifter. I'm not that type of person. I am big on just doing what you enjoy every day, regardless of what that is. For me, it happens to be tennis and racket sports. I love being outside. I love hiking. I love biking. So, I'm doing something every day, but I'm not getting big muscles, right?
I understand.
So
Yeah.
I say that because what I'm personally, and I'm saying that just to preface that, like, I'm not some like fitness expert, but I have always been a big believer in what type of movement do you need for everyday life? What type of movement is going to keep you moving every day and doing things actively into your 70s and 80s? Like my dad just turned 74. He's a machine. He can do anything. He can do physical labor. He can fix stuff. He just helped me build a shed in my backyard. If we got big cement bags that we're pouring because we're doing a fence, and he can lift those 50-pound cement bags, no problem. He's 74 years old. So he's just stayed active and he stayed strong. He doesn't go to the gym. He doesn't work out, but so I'm a big believer in like just moving your own body weight.
Yes.
Push-ups, pushing, pulling, walking, sports, light weights. The times I've gotten into heavy weights, that's when I got injured. And that's when I had to take long, long breaks. Like I got really into CrossFit one time and I loved it. It was like super tons of fun. But I'll never forget when I was doing that clean and jerk and my back popped and went out and I was out for like a long time. And I was like, man, I didn't need to do that. I didn't need to just keep doing more and more and more weights. And again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with weights. I think muscle's important. I think mid need muscle. I think that's all important. I'm not the muscle guy, but I'm like, what are you going to do that you enjoy every day? And how can you stay moving and flexible and have strength into your 50s, 60s, 70s, and why not 80s?
That's right.
That would be like more my focus.
Yes. No, I totally get it. And I think like you said, either body weight, and we do body weight, you can do it so many different ways, or lighter weights. You don't have to be like doing the clean and all of that with 50-pound weights or even 20-pound weights. And I think a lot of people are seeing that on social media where they're watching these people work out and they're like, come on, lift your 35-pound weight. And I'm like, I move fast, so the way I teach, I'm doing cardio and strength all at the same time. And I'm like, there's no way I would pull something out of whack,
Especially as we get older. Like, if you're in your 20s and you're in your prime and you're super strong, like, go for it. Like, But for the rest of us who are like pushing 40s, 50s, 60s, it's like, okay, what can we do that's like smart, right?
That's right. Take care of your body. I love that. Do what you like, but stay active. Keep moving. That's the key.
Amen.
I mean, it really is. Next, Dr. Vaughn, I want to ask you about protein and why it's so important for muscles and health, metabolism, energy, and also recovery. And I don't know what to do about protein. Of course, I'm in the fitness field, and I know what the books say and how much for age and all that good stuff, but what do you say?
Well, I guess I'd just start by saying protein is really important. I mean, it really is. I do blood work on people. I see that they're protein deficient, and I think it should be addressed. Protein we know it's a building block for every muscle, joint, tissue, for cellular repair, for immune function, for healthy cellular function. You absolutely have to have proteins. Now, I am not going to be the guy that's going to say this is the way to do it. And the reason why is there's lots of different opinions, and there's lots of people being successful, and I'm talking from a health standpoint, very successful on high protein diets, low protein diets, or somewhere in the middle, right?
Yes.
Like there are cultures of people, like the Hunzas in the Himalayas, like not that I want to use an extreme example, but they're 95% vegetarian. They eat very, very small amounts of animal products. They all live into their hundreds. They're ridiculously healthy, and they climb up and down mountains. So you can look at all the examples everywhere, right, of like people doing different things different way. I think there's more to it. And what I mean by that is I think your overall lifestyle, how much sun you're getting, how the cleanliness and the quality of the food you're eating, like I think all of those things play a factor. And let me say it this way. If you're not doing well, if you're sick and you're weak and you're tired, that's actually probably when you need more protein. Okay? And as people get healthier and they get stronger and they get fit, a lot of times you realize like you don't need as much, or you don't even crave as much. And it's like I have 3 children, and they're totally different. My son, he's a straight carnivore. He'll eat any protein you put in front of him. And then I got these 2 girls, one especially, my oldest, she's like, I just want a salad. Yeah. I don't like chicken. And we're like, you got to eat your protein, right? But like, do we need to force our kids to eat protein? Or is it like, okay, that they're eating clean, they're eating healthy foods, they might be getting some other proteins from the nuts, the beans, other foods that they're eating. We do proteins. We do smoothies a lot. We do like shakes and smoothies. We always throw like protein in there to make sure they're getting some protein. We do some yogurt. We do some cottage cheese. Anytime we do dairy, we make sure it's protein centric. In other words, they're getting protein. We don't just drink milk, but we do fermented dairy, and we make sure we're getting protein from it. We found this amazing recipe for cottage cheese pancakes. Oh. I know it sounds weird.
No.
They're the fluffiest, most amazing pancakes we've ever had in our life. And they're crazy high in protein because they have cottage cheese and they have eggs.
You're going to have to share the recipe. You just mentioned it.
Okay, I will get the recipe. Hold on, I'm going to write it down. Cottage cheese pancake recipe. They're crazy good. They're super simple. You blend everything in the blender and you pour it onto your griddle and you make pancakes.
Wow. Okay.
So I will get the recipe for it. Maybe you can share it with your peoples here.
Absolutely. They would love that, and I'll put it on social media. So is there any, I know you said you're not going to tell us how much and all that, but let's say for a woman that's over 40 years of age, okay, is there any certain amount of protein that person should be taking in? Is there, 40, 50, 60, 98? I mean, what do you think about that?
I mean, if I was going to give a number, I'd say bare minimum we should be getting 50 grams of protein a day, if I was to say a number. Okay. But again, that can totally vary based off of the person. And the other thing I think is really, really important to mention is when I look at people's blood work and I see that there's protein low, and I see albumin and maybe some other markers that are lower off, I'm like, are they digesting their food? Are they digesting their protein? So sometimes people are like, they don't feel good. They feel weak. They get their blood work. They're low in protein. They're like, I eat protein 2-3 meals a day. I love protein. I eat protein all the time. Well, they're not digesting their food. So one thing I think everyone needs to hear is that I believe we have a chronic deficiency in stomach acid in our culture today. Oh. I mean, think about how many people are on Tums and Prilosec and omeprazole and, what are the names of all those proton pump inhibitors, those PPIs, those acid blockers? Those things are a nightmare because 95% of people, when they have a digestive problem, they have low stomach acid. And if you have low stomach acid, you can't break down and digest your protein. And this is something people need to remember too. Your body doesn't need protein. Your body needs amino acids. So when you eat that steak, it's the job of your stomach acid to break the protein, animal protein, down into amino acids, and the amino acids are the building blocks the body uses to build the protein structures it needs.
Okay.
So you actually need amino acids, not protein, so that's important. And so what I have, when I'm working with somebody and I know they're protein deficient, especially people with cancer, people really, really sick, they're very, very, very protein deficient. So number one, fix their stomach acid. Okay, check your stomach acid. I have a hydrochloric acid challenge I give people to test to see how strong or weak their stomach acid is. So check their stomach acid, work on fixing their stomach acid, make sure they're digesting their protein. Two, there's a product called Perfect Aminos that I really, really like because it's the 8 essential amino acids. You probably know this, Theresa, but there's some amino acids our body makes, and there's some amino acids that we must consume through our diet, and they call those the essential amino acids. So those 8 essential amino acids, I mean, you can supplement them. And this product, Perfect Aminos, I give to people all the time because it gives them the protein, the amino, I shouldn't say protein, the amino acids they need for the building blocks that they need, especially if they're weak, especially if they can't digest their food properly. So I think we need to be looking at those two things versus just like how many grams of protein I should eat. Are you digesting it? Do you need to take an amino acid supplement just to make sure you're getting it? I'm also a fan of quick protein smoothies. Like I said kind of earlier, I always throw them in any shake or smoothie we make as a family. I'm always throwing some protein in there. I think that's important. Now, with all that being said, I am a believer that the best form of protein we can eat is animal protein. It's the most absorbable. It's immediate. It makes us feel full. It's satisfying. It has the right kind of iron, the heme iron in it. That's the more absorbable form of iron if you eat steak, and a lot of people are anemic. So I am a fan of eating meat. I just want to make sure I say that because people maybe think I'm vegetarian or something.
No, I totally understand. And while we're discussing this, people can actually reach out to you. You have a website. You could actually do like a telehealth conference with them, not conference, or a meeting.
Just virtual consultation. We do lab work. We can do it anywhere. It doesn't matter where you live. Yep.
Well, I wanted people to know that because, you know, people have asked me that before, like, oh, is he local? I'm like, no, he's not, but you can still reach out and contact him. And
Totally.
also you had mentioned the word cancer, and I know we've talked about this topic before of fasting. Is that important to do? Maybe if you've been diagnosed with cancer, I've heard that you're supposed to go on a fast, 2-3 day fast. I don't know. I'm not a medical professional. So what do you say?
Yeah, with cancer, I'm definitely a fan of fasting, intermittent fasting, water fasting, getting the body into that state of apoptosis where it's killing cancer cells. There are people fasting carnivore diet, meat only, reversing cancer.
Wow.
Okay? There are people stopping all meat, going vegetarian alkaline diet, reversing cancer. So it's not so much as does meat good for you or bad for you? Does it cause cancer? Is it not? The diet itself, I don't think causes cancer outside of the chemicals we put in our food. Think about it. People have been eating meat for thousands of years. We've only had a serious cancer problem for 150 years. It's our modern culture, our modern environment, the toxins, the poisons in the food, the poor quality food. So it's not about meat or no meat. And like I said, I think meat is totally fine to eat. But if you do have cancer, you do want to clean it up, change your diet, detox your body, and really avoid, sugars, processed foods, carbs, seed oils. We know all the bad stuff is. You really do got to clean it up if you're going to reverse cancer.
Okay, thank you so much. So next topic of discussion is supplementation. Supplements are everywhere. You can go to Sam's Club.
Sure.
Nothing wrong with Sam's Club. You can go to Walmart. You can go to a health store, But what are we supposed to do, Dr. Vaughn? And you've mentioned some supplements before. So do we need supplements? Does the body, and I know we do, but
yeah,
how can we tell what we need?
It's a broad topic. I will say, you mentioned like nothing wrong with Sam's Club. I do pick on big box stores because most of those brands in those big box stores are actually, people don't know this, but they're owned by pharmaceutical companies.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't name any brands, but there's a pretty well-known brand that's in Walmart, Target, every one of those. And you look it up, it's owned by a Japanese pharmaceutical company. So I don't think a pharmaceutical company in another country is probably in tune with like what a quality nutrient is or quality ingredients is, right? So I definitely think the company you're getting it from, the quality 100% matters. It goes back to like, do you need to supplement? Maybe not. Right? If you're healthy and you're active and you fit and you eat a clean lifestyle, maybe you take a couple supplements. Maybe you take perfect aminos. Maybe you take a protein powder. Maybe you do just a couple very, very basic things. Unfortunately, we have a world of sickness and chronic illness. And so, it's hard for me to answer the question of should you supplement, because I see chronically ill people, right? So when people have a body that's sick and they're full of mold and fungal overgrowth, they have Lyme disease, they have parasites in their body, they're full of heavy metals, you have to take supplements to get those things out. Like you have to do a cleanse. You got to do protocols. That's why God gave us these herbs and these tinctures and capsules and all these amazing things we can take. I mean, there's a reason the supplement industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's not because it's all snake oil.
Right.
Lots of them work. Lots of them are good. But where do you get them from? Who do you trust? Who's giving you the right information? Who's giving you the supplements you actually need? So my approach, one, is I vet everything that comes to my store. It's got to be the best possible quality. I say as close to the way God created it as possible and put into a bottle. Companies like North American Urban Spice that put no fillers, no junk, nothing in it. It's just the best of the best. And so I think the quality matters. And then I think ideally you do some sort of test. I mean, you can go through me and there's all kinds of stuff out there these days. Get some basic blood work done. Get some testing done to see if you have mold or parasites or, different infections, whatever it is. But take the supplements you need that are serving you. I mean, I'm sure you can imagine how many people walk into my office with their grocery bag full of 30 supplements.
Oh, wow.
And they say, this is what I'm taking. They haven't done any lab tests. It's all because of all the stuff they ran across on social media or heard a friend was taking or da-da-da-da-da. And so they're like, let's take that too, right? So, like, they have no idea what they need. And so I go, hey, there's nothing wrong with, like, the supplements. That's fine. But, like, let's actually talk to you. What do you need? Oh, what are your issues? What does your blood work say? Maybe we can take those 30 supplements and get it down to like 7 that actually are serving you. So there's a couple of thoughts on supplementation.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't even take 30 different supplements. I mean,
it's shocking how many things people take.
Oh my goodness. Okay, is there something, let's say, is there something that we all have in common, maybe that we're all maybe a little deficient in? Can you just give us maybe a basic fundamental, maybe if you just say this is the one thing that you probably need to take? Is there that?
Yep, and we sell that at our store. It's just some baseline things that somebody comes in. One's called pH Balancer by Mother Earth Labs. It's basically a liquid multivitamin. If you look in the ingredients, it's ridiculous. It covers everything, and people love it. And I've heard so many stories of people just taking that and they feel better and their energy comes back. And I literally had a gal who is a 7-year-old nonverbal autistic girl start talking just from taking that liquid multivitamin. Their parents called me. They're like, yeah, she's saying words. It was crazy. So people are deficient in just the basics. Like everybody's deficient in magnesium. Most people are deficient in potassium and other electrolytes. Everybody's deficient in iodine. People are deficient in CoQ10. So taking a really, really good basic multivitamin, I do think smart in today's world where we've been bombarded by fast food and processed food. We're not eating enough or the right quality foods. Our food supply's tainted, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So I do think also, I'm big on this, I think every child and adult, but especially our children, should be taking cod liver oil every single day. Like we should be taking these superfoods that parents were giving their kids in the 40s, 50s, and 60s and torturing them with because they hated eating liver and onions and they hated taking cod liver and oil. But everybody knew how good it was for you, so they made them take it. We should still be taking that today. Vitamin A, vitamin D, like getting those nutrients from your food, taking beef liver capsules. So it's like, what should everybody be taking? A good multi, magnesium, cod liver oil, greens, spirulina, chlorella, some type of a greens powder. I take bioastin every day so that I can get in the sun and tan. I was in the sun for 4 hours on Saturday because my son had 2 football games followed by 2 soccer games. 4 hours in the sun, my arms and face looked burned. Next morning, I woke up totally tan. You would not even tell I was burned. This was just Saturday, 2 days ago. So when you have lots of antioxidants in your body, greens in your body, things like astaxanthin in your body, you won't burn and you'll tan. So there's lots of great nutrients out there. I think my bottom line is it has to be good quality. Where are you getting it from? Trust me, not Walmart and Costco. And then 2, are you taking something that's serving you and your needs, and how are you learning what you need?
That's awesome. Dr. Vaughn, how can people reach out to you and connect with you?
Sure. Yeah, reach out to me. Yeah, just go to our website, spiritofhealthkc.com. You can call our phone number, 816-492-5648. You can actually talk to a human. We're not like all AI and everything yet anyway. So yeah, totally reach out. Go to my YouTube channel, over 1,000 videos on YouTube on every topic you can imagine. But yeah, and we can work with people virtually, and we specialize in working with chronic illness. So.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we talked about a lot of things: fitness, protein, recovery, supplementation. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely. And thanks for listening. I'm Theresa Rowe. Everyone have a blessed day. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Shaped by Faith with Theresa Rowe. Remember to visit shapebyfaith.com to find out more about workouts, the TV show, podcasts, blogs, Shaped by Faith products, and much more.